That little egoic self is the thing that has kept us bound incarnation after incarnation. It's the little liar saying that, oh, don't worry about your problems. Let's just go watch more TV and eat a little ice cream and it'll all be okay tomorrow. And it never is okay tomorrow. And we keep pushing our problems aside and just hoping that it will be better. Yes, we have to have hope, but we also have to have discrimination. That we have to think, what really is going to make it better tomorrow? Is it going to be a different flavor of ice cream? Is it going to be a different TV serial? Maybe not on the box, but on your computer these days, on the internet? No, it's not. It's never, ever, ever going to work that way. And so we have to look. We have to introspect. We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to look deep within of where is that silent place? Where can we really find truth? And we know that it's on the inside, but we have to learn to use the techniques to go deep enough on the inside. And as we learn to practice Kriya Yoga, we can get to a point where we control our energy enough, where we can control our mind enough, where then we can sit in that great state of inner silence from which all answers to all of our problems will come. This is the way to go through life. That to say, well, I'll think about my problems now and meditate later, the problems will always be there. And you may even think up one great solution, but you implement it, and there comes another problem. But to go to the source of all solutions, and to go to the place, it's the true vacation, where you can go inside and no problems can touch you. Paramahansa Yogananda told Dr. Lewis that when you are in Om, nothing can touch you. But we have to learn how to go inside and realize that Om is within us. That yes, we have to chant Om, and let's even chant it out loud for fun. All right, that's okay. But we have to learn how to chant Om on the inside. We need to do that so deeply that we chant Om until we feel Om is chanting us. And that Om is creating the whole universe. And that the whole darn thing is just inside of us. But we have to turn our attention inward like that. So the other reading in the Gita there was that someone who is enlightened looks at this whole world, a priest or an outcast, a lump of dirt, whatever he called it in there, and a bar of gold, all the same. He also says praise or blame, that it's all the same. And what this means is that we've used that sort of discrimination to understand that absolutely God's doing everything. It means that sort of discrimination has been used deeply enough and understood enough that we realize that desires are the root of all suffering, that desires, in Master's words, ever filled or ever fulfilled, never satisfied, never fulfilled, ever satisfied. And now we have to take that and be honest with ourselves where we are. Most of us are not Ram Gopal Muzumdar, and we cannot just say, okay, I have a desire for food, but I'll just put it off, that we have to eat. And so, in the beginning, use your discrimination to separate your wants from your needs. And decide that you have certain needs, that we all need a little sleep and food and this and that every day. But then take the things that are just desires, and you know that actually you don't need to be doing those, and start to push those away. And don't fulfill those desires. And slowly you'll see that actually we're bound by our desires, that they promise happiness, but that they always break their promises. And if we just keep going in that direction, if we just keep trying to get rid of desires slowly and keep trying to bring in more and more pure desires for God, and we keep trying to meditate more and more, then Krishna says, know this, Arjuna, my devotee is never lost. And so if we just keep trying, the spiritual path is hard. Don't think that it's not, because you'll quickly be sad and run away. That it is difficult. But God made it that way. He made it to make us tough. That we have to be tough. And in the Christian Bible it says that I am a jealous God. And you wonder, now, what kind of God is that, a jealous God? That's for first standard children that are jealous. We're trying to teach them not to be jealous. Why is God a jealous God? But God is saying that you have to make me your first priority. That if you have all of these lesser desires, fine. Pray to me even. I'll fulfill them. That's fine. But you'll be stuck in Maya, that you won't actually get me. But so he's not saying that he's jealous in a vengeant way. But he's saying that you have to think of me and only me. Which brings us to that reading from the affirmations, which was talking about controlling the mind, and that we want to only have positive thoughts, and that as are our inner thoughts, then so is going to be our outer environment. It's a true teaching. It's a difficult teaching, and it's difficult for most of us because our minds are so wild that they're thinking about this thing one time and this and that and this. It's amazing, actually, as we begin to analyze our thoughts, that we can even go in a straight line at all, that we have so many different conflicting thoughts going this way and that way. An interesting thing that Paramahansa Yogananda said was, thoughts are things. Meaning that they might not be tangible, meaning you can hold it in your hand, but that it nevertheless, a thought is a real thing. And just tuning into his lingo, the way that he said it, thoughts are things, helps me very much. That some of those thoughts that go through, I wouldn't want people to be able to read my mind or see these thoughts if they were outward. But at the same time, realizing that thoughts are things, I realize these thoughts, they have power, and that I need to learn to control these. But the way to control it is to realize that thoughts are emanating from our level of consciousness. And to make it very simple, when we have a low level of consciousness, our energy is down, and we think low-level thoughts. When we have a high level of energy, we think high level of thoughts. And herein lies the beauty of Kriya Yoga, that by changing our energy and raising our energy level, that automatically we can think good thoughts. And by raising our energy level high enough, we can get to the point where we can completely calm the mind and sit in that inner light, in that inner joy. And so Kriya Yoga is a very important and powerful thing for us to be able to get to a point where we can control the mind, where we can think positive things all of the time. Also, environment is a very important factor in learning to control our minds and think positive thoughts. Be around positive people. That if you're around people who are going to give expression to their negative thoughts outwardly by speaking negative words, then God only knows what are the thoughts going on in there that they're not willing to talk about, that they think might be too bad. Maybe I shouldn't say that one out loud. So we don't want to be around people like that. We want to be around people that are positive all the time, that are only saying outwardly good things, and that in their minds only positive things are going on. And this is all just training for us to be able to keep our mind ever fixed, ever one-pointedly fixed on God alone, where throughout the day we can just be chanting God, God, God. People think that that's, impractical, and that I have to think about my shopping list and this and that. That the saints, that they can get their shopping done by just asking God, what do we need to buy today, God? And God figures it out for them. And we might not be there yet, but we'll get there. So let's learn to rely on His power to the extent that we can. Otherwise, fine, we'll make our shopping lists. But even when you're there checking the list, don't forget, ask God, did I forget anything? And listen for that answer. You know, it's so simple. It's that simple for us just to be asking God all of the time. But we forget, and we think I'm going to rely on my little college-trained ego intellect, and that'll do the trick, and I'll get to God later. And it just never works. But slowly ask Him even for the little things of what should I wear today? Should I eat a carrot today, or is it all right if I don't? Ask Him these little things, and you'll find that He comes in all of these unexpected ways, and you'll find that He gives you the better answer that you never would have thought of. And that better answer, that it feels just right. And you'll start feeling that I like having this relationship with God. And that's where my true strength is coming from. And that's where all thoughts are coming from. And that the more that I turn towards that and let the thoughts and let the feelings come from that higher source, the happier I am. And then you can channel that happiness to the entire world. And in doing that, you will become the entire world. You will realize that you are the entire universe, and you will realize that you've only ever had one job, and that's flood the universe with your love and with your joy. So let's all live in that consciousness together. Let's walk towards that consciousness together. It's been a great joy for me to be here this evening, and we'll end with Arati.